Tori here today with another Scrap Your Scraps video. I'm really excited. I've had this idea for a while, but just haven't made it because I haven't had time, and now I finally have time and I'm so excited to make it. I have this super cute photo of my older brother when he was a little kid, and I am super excited to make this page because I'm going to be using my scraps and my die cuts. So my thin wafer dies, I used my Cuttlebug and a ton of my scraps, and I die cut out little leaves and these flowers out of greens and blue papers. And that's what I'm going to use for today's project. I'll probably also grab some of the leaves and flowers from these Maggie Holmes open book ephemeras. I love these. These are like my fourth package of these. I just love them so much. They're so versatile. So I want to grab some of the leaves out of there. And then I also grabbed this jar of Prima flowers. And I'm going to add that just so that there's some extra texture. And that's what I'm doing for today. So I already die cut those just to save some time. It did take me a long time to die cut all of those leaves and poke out all those little delicate things. So I've just been watching TV. Actually, I've been watching Netflix and just punching out leaves for a couple of days. And now that I feel like I have enough for my projects, I'm going to get started, and hopefully I'll have enough with that and the leaves from those other two things to make my really epic project. So if you want to stick with me and check out my Scrap Your Scraps layout using blues and greens, leaves, and really fun scraps, then stick with me, and I hope that you guys enjoy today's project. I am going to stick you on fast forward just because this is going to take a little while, but I hope that you guys really enjoy today's project and that you enjoy seeing how I scrap this older photo of my adorable, cute little brother. Anyways, that's it for me for now, and I'll see you in a little while. So I know the camera's a little askew there, so I'm really sorry about that. I didn't realize until after a few minutes. So just give me a moment and I will fix that in just a minute. But before I do that, I just want to say that I have kind of created my layout by making a giant pile of leaves. And I'm going to mix the die cut leaves that I cut out, and the leaves from those crepe paper packages, and then also that giant jar of flowers and leaves. And I'm just picking through and picking out all of the green and blue ones. And this is so different for me. Normally I like to make really bright, colorful layouts with lots of pink. And sometimes when I do that, my brother laughs at me and says, like, I don't want a layout that's all pink. I want you to make like a boy layout. So I was kind of making this layout with that in mind and decided to make a green and blue layout. And what I've done is I've just sped this up so that you guys don't have to watch me do this for a really long time. And I just drew a circle around the outside of the page and then started just layering leaves on top over and over and over all the way around the page. And I did a time lapse so that you guys could watch that. I'm going to play a little music, and then after that's done, I'll be right back to talk about how I put the page together. to shut the camera off and realize that it had stopped filming for some reason. So I just wanted to come back and show you what it looks like when it's all done. I did add my title and some embellishments, and I just wanted to kind of talk about why I decided to do that. I started by adding something to the middle. I just felt like it needed some kind of centerpiece to draw it all together, so I used this green button that I had in my stash. And then I added my photo off to the side. I was thinking about putting it in the middle, but I kind of prefer when the photo is on like the side a little bit, not smack dab in the middle. I added my title, which is Joshy. So that's what I call my older brother, Joshy. And he hates it, but that's what I've been calling him since he was this little. So I'm gonna keep calling him that. And I used this really cool copper foil chipboard that I had in my stash. I can't really remember where this comes because it's been in my stash for a while. It might be Studio Calico for my kit, but it would be a long time ago. And it just felt like that copper really worked well with the photo, and then some of the leaves had a little bit of copper tones in them. Then I added these two chipboard word strips. Want to remember this in such a happy moment. It just felt like it needed a little something underneath the name there. And this want to remember has some like that mint color, which you can definitely find there. And it also has that copper tone in it, so I felt like it would draw it together. And then I added these cork pieces, and these come from, I think, Pink Paisley. And I just love them because they have little flecks of sparkles in them, which I thought would tie to the sparkly leaves that are mixed in between here. And then I just finished it off with some enamel dots, and I kind of spread the enamel dots throughout. There's a couple around the photo just to draw the attention there, but then there's also some just like in between the leaves and stuff, just for a little extra texture. And I know that this layout is super busy because of all the leaves and stuff, but I definitely think the photo is the centerpiece, just because it's like calming. So when your brain looks at this, it wants to look at something a little calming and serene. And then you definitely, your eye goes to the photo, and then it looks at all the other embellishments too. And I just fluffed up some of the leaves just to give it a little extra texture, and I am so ecstatic. I love the way it looks. I think it's so gorgeous. It took a really long time. I'm gonna be honest, it took a really long time, but I just love the way the layout looks so much that I'm so glad I did it. Often when I make these Scrap Your Scraps videos, people will say like, oh, there's no way I could do that, or that took you forever, or how long did it take you? And for me, like I kind of find that the whole process of putting a layout together is so therapeutic and enjoyable, and the end process when you put that much effort into it just looks so incredible that I think it's totally worth it. So people are probably going to ask me how long did that take me, and I honestly don't know, because the leaves and stuff were made over like a week. I just kind of would die cut whenever I was watching TV, and because I had to die cut like all of those leaves, and then sticking them down probably took me about an hour and a half. Yeah, I'd say an hour and a half. And then the rest of the layout came together really quickly. But I think it was still such an enjoyable project, and I got to use tons of my scraps. Now, if you didn't want it to take that long, you could just buy like those Prima flowers or those crepe paper like flower leaves and just cut them apart and use those, and then you wouldn't have to die cut. You could even use your silhouette or something like that to cut out all those leaves, and it wouldn't take that long. But because I was using my Cuttlebug and those little thin wafer dies, it took a little longer, but I just love the end effect of this layout, and I think it's a perfect way to use tons of scraps. And look at me, I made a layout that's like mostly greens and blues, and like there's not really any pink. I mean, there's like little bits of pink from the papers, but not like overly pink. Yeah. And then I just finished it off by adding my journaling around the outside of the layout.
The reason I did that was because I didn't want to take away from the main pieces here, the photo and title and this epic like leaf pile. Um, and I felt like it needed something to kind of just contain the layout. So when you put it around the outside, it kind of keeps everything inside. And it doesn't draw away from the layout at all. It's just kind of like an added detail. And I love journaling around things like that and not journaling in straight lines. And basically, the journaling just talks about how my brother Josh will always be Joshy to me. And it doesn't matter how old he gets and how much it annoys him, and I know it frustrates him, but like we're only about 13 months apart, so he's been Joshy for like 27 years for me. So, and he's gonna keep being Joshy. Anyways, that's the layout. I really love it. And I would love it if you would maybe try to make a layout like this too. If you do, tag me, share it with me. I'd love to see it. And if this layout seems too intense for you and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I could never make that, I understand. But maybe just try to do it. Make it while you're making other things. Or start cutting out paper leaves in a different way, and I promise that you'll love the end result so much. And you wouldn't even have to make it this big. I think you could make the paper leaf pile smaller. I love that it fills up the whole entire page, but you could make it like so it was like this big and just 3 levels of leaves too. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope I've inspired you. I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. And if you're really enjoying these Scrap Your Scraps videos, don't forget that I have a whole playlist of them. And you can check that out. I'll leave that in the links or the cards below, or the cards. And there's like 35 of these different layouts or something like that that you can check out how I've scrapped my scraps. And definitely they're not all as intense as this one. And don't forget to hit subscribe and leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys think. Have a great day. Bye.